Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll go for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Monday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Rico with you. Hello, Rico.
Hello.
How's the day?
Fantastic. I mean, I got my partner in crime back.
We back. It's good to be back.
I mean,
Thank you.
good. I was good with Austin. Like, Austin was fantastic.
He was fine.
But he was fantastic.
There you go. Oh,
But
there's the sound.
It was throwing me off too.
Man,
I was wondering why it was so off.
I couldn't hear myself talk. All right, we good.
I was having
I felt like Terrell Farley turning up my headphones,
I was having problems.
isolating the headphones up a ton.
I was so worried.
How was the last week?
It was good. It was
Good.
fantastic.
That's what I like
Some
to hear.
great shows.
I missed a lot.
Yeah, you did. And I still don't believe you. I still don't. So, everybody, again, welcome into the Happy Hour. 93.7 Ticket.
Let me go through the full spiel.
Yeah, do your thing. It's been a while.
402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo channel 951.
61.
961.
You missed that too.
Yep. Huge shout out to Empire Fence and Netting for their support as always. You can always follow us on Twitter, on X at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. Go ahead.
I don't believe you. Everybody,
that's
Nick
fine.
said that he completely unplugged. He said he deleted Twitter.
I did.
He said he deleted ESPN and that he didn't know anything that was going on. Well, for anybody that was wondering, over the last week that Nick was gone, we have had 3 historic coaches step down, get fired, retire, whatever. We've had all kinds of coaching movement because of people getting poached from places to places and all that fun stuff. We had Nebraska Basketball lose and then win and all that fun stuff. Nick was gone for all of it.
Well, so
I mean, he was back for the weekend, but still.
I was the day before I left was in the afternoon. Nick Saban retired, right?
Dipped.
So I knew about Nick Saban retiring. Had no clue Kalen DeBoer was the guy that they were going after.
Nobody did.
Had no clue.
Lane Kiffin never got his name mentioned. I assume that he was the first call and he turned it down. Steve Sarkisian was mentioned. Oregon's coach, I can't remember his name right now, Dan Lanning, was down in Tuscaloosa for an interview, allegedly, and then went back and, reaffirmed that he was staying. Steve Sarkisian gets a raise, posts a video. Somebody else posted a video that they were staying as well. Just all kinds of fun stuff. Florida State's head coach got a raise. Mike Norvell, 8 years, $80 million.
Dang. I didn't know that.
Yeah. All these coaches, their agent, who, funny thing, I believe all of them.
Yeah.
Same agent.
It's probably like a Scott Boras type of thing.
And he's all their agents. He's also Nick Saban's agent.
Yeah.
So he got everybody raises, and then Kalen DeBoer swoops in. And
well, no, I told the story on the drive this morning where it was like a couple of days after DeBoer got hired. Somebody in our group chat with like me, you,
it was
Raph, AD, and Jay, I think. There was Raph sent like a thing with DeBoer or with Jed Fish going to Washington.
Yep.
And I just replied, wait, what happened with DeBoer?
Yeah, you said, where's DeBoer? And we were like, he's at Alabama.
I had no clue. Had no idea.
Yeah, you go, I didn't know that. And I go, I don't believe you.
Yeah,
I still don't believe you.
It was incredible. It was a great time in Cancun.
The Arizona
much
fans,
warmer.
The Arizona fans, faithful and players all dislike Jed Fish now.
Very much so.
He had like a 5-minute meeting saying like, hey guys, I'm out.
So I did read that it was like a 3-minute thing, which was pretty crazy. I also got to thinking yesterday and over the course of the weekend while I was kind of getting back to reality here. The quarterback situations at a couple of these places are crazy right now, because obviously Washington, you had Will Rogers go from Mississippi State, instantly was like, I'm going to Washington. Everybody kind of knew that was going to be the landing spot for Will Rogers.
He was on the sideline during the national championship
Exactly.
game.
And now the head coach leaves and Kalen DeBoer goes to Alabama and they bring in Jedd Fisch. Well, Jedd Fisch was just leading a true freshman quarterback in Noah Fafita, who is like 8th in Heisman odds going into next season. The guy's unbelievable because he took over for their starting quarterback, Jaden DeLora, after he got injured, lost to USC, where in a game where that was, if you watched it, was strictly Arizona's defensive fault.
They could have won that game.
They should have won that game, should have Arizona. Then they went on this incredible hot streak, demolished Washington State up in Pullman. And while Washington State was still ranked, ends up, winning the bulk of their games. And I think they finished with 10 wins. So now you look at like Arizona and Noah Fafita specifically, and it's like, dang, Arizona, Jaden DeLora, he transferred out because it was Noah Fafita's job. It felt like, all right, the coaching carousel has somewhat subsided now that the national championship has been played. It's time to kind of settle down, roster reconstruction and management.
Psych.
Well, then you have Jedd Fisch go to Washington after DeBoer leaves for Alabama. Will Rogers is up there going, oh man, what's going on here? He's still at Washington as it is right now.
He's in the portal.
The backup, Will Rogers?
Will Rogers is in the portal.
Back in the portal.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
Unless he took his name out and he's staying at Washington.
Okay, so Will Rogers back in the portal.
Last I checked, he entered the portal. Their 4-star, 5-star, depending on where you look, recruit entered the portal. He's going to Alabama. Arizona, I think Delora said he was going to Washington. He committed somewhere. He's going somewhere. I don't remember exactly where he said he was going, but he's going somewhere. When the coaches leave, all of the players started entering the portal.
And part of that is you have 30 days.
You have 30 days, but it's just nuts, especially with the quarterback situation, because when you look at what Kalen DeBoer is able to do with quarterbacks, you would expect, some quarterbacks to follow him. Well, and I know we'll get to this later, but Alabama has a 5-star who entered the portal and is committed somewhere now. But their starter entered the portal, then took his name out. He's staying in Alabama. Washington's 4-star, 5-star recruit for this last class entered the portal, and he's going to Alabama. Arizona, DeLora enters the portal. It's just a mess of players in the portal. Alabama lost like 30 players in 2 days.
So let's talk about Alabama, because this is more of an intriguing position. Is Alabama. Obviously, Nick Saban moves on. Kalen DeBoer doesn't let the Alabama commits from the signees from the 2024 classes. He doesn't let them out of their national letter of intents. Instead, he forces them to enter the portal. If you notice,
that's messed up.
It's a fascinating thing. Now, the difference is basically national letter of intent is going to allow you to look at every single school. Transfer portals, they kind of got to reach out to you.
Yep.
Well, so for example, the number 1 quarterback in the country, according to 24/7 Sports, Julian Sayin. Now, he was committed, signed, ready to go at Alabama.
He's hanging out in Hawaii.
Yeah. He's from Carlsbad, California. He ends up entering the transfer portal. This is a guy that has not taken a single snap of college football.
Nope.
And he is now transferred to Ohio State, where, do I need to remind you, Will Howard finally made the decision months, or I guess weeks, after being in the portal. One of the first to go into the portal did Will Howard. And after weeks of just kind of mulling options, visited USC, talked a little bit to a lot of other schools.
Florida State,
thought
Miami.
about the NFL draft, I guess.
This is everywhere.
He ends up going to Ohio State.
Yeah, it was like last second. Ohio State's like, "Hey, Will, you want to come talk to us?" And they talked, and they were like, "Yeah, I guess this will work." So he ends up going there. Julian Sayin transferring to Ohio State. The quarterback room is stacked because, oh, by the way, they have Aaron Noland, who was also in this class, who was, I think, the 7th ranked quarterback or something along those lines. So they have the best quarterback in the nation, the 7th best quarterback in the nation. They have one of the hottest quarterbacks out of the transfer portal. And, oh, by the way, they have their quarterback number 33,
Devin Brown.
Devin Brown. And, oh, by the way, they have the true freshman out of North Dakota, who is
Lincoln
also on the
Kienholz.
team. Like, their
South
quarterback
Dakota, but
room,
yes.
South Dakota, one of the Dakotas. Their quarterback room stacked with talent. I don't know what's going to happen.
So how about this? Ohio State in the offseason. These are just 5 of the names that they have added to their roster. Obviously, Julian Sand, number 1 quarterback in 2024. Okay. They added Jeremiah Smith, who was the number one overall recruit in 2024 at the wide receiver position.
Yes.
They added Caleb Downs, who is the number 1 overall player in the transfer portal, number 1 safety.
Oh, yeah. True freshman started at Alabama.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
They
one.
added Will Howard, as we know. Excuse me.
Pretty darn good quarterback out of Kansas State, transferred in.
And they added Quinshawn Judkins, the number 1 running back in the transfer portal from Ole Miss, to go alongside
Travion Henderson.
So you want to talk about, and not to mention here,
if I'm Harbaugh, I'm out.
Hold on, let's just
I'm not coming back to face that Ohio State team.
Ohio State had the number 2 class in the entire country.
Yes.
They added 2 5-star wide receivers. They added a 5-star defensive end in Edric Houston. They added, as we mentioned, Aaron Noland. And then once again, through the transfer portal, they have added 3 guys from Alabama. They also added the center that had the snapping problems, Seth McLaughlin.
He had a good year up until the game.
They added him.
So that's a really good addition that people are just
3 Bama players, 1 Ole Miss player. They added a tight end from Ohio, and they added Will Howard. There's your transfers.
If I'm Jim Harbaugh, I'm going to LA. I'm not sticking around for that. I beat Ohio State 3 years in a row.
3 straight years.
I made the playoff 3 years in a row. I won a national championship. I'm good. I don't need to go back to Michigan.
I don't have anything to prove.
I've done what I needed to do. I'm going to LA. I'm going somewhere where it's warm and I can work with an already established quarterback. Not really established. He's still a loser.
Yeah. Just not great. I also think, how about this? I'm sure you guys probably discussed this. Cam Ward changing his mind.
Yep.
You guys talked about that?
Yeah, we did. He said, he couldn't find a place to land. He said, I'm going to the NFL. And then probably didn't get the amount of attention that he was thinking he was going to get.
No, probably not, as we kind of expected, I think. So I just wanted to kind of catch up on some of those things because it's crazy to think back of like, all right, we thought the transfer portal and some of the bigger names had kind of subsided, had kind of cooled down, and there wasn't going to be as much movement going forward. Well, now you have Nick Saban, who is obviously one of the legends, retires in the college game, and they get DeBoer, who was probably not in the first choice. It doesn't feel like DeBoer doesn't fit Alabama in my eyes. It's hard for me to be like, he's that guy that's going to go to a Washington, going to go to a somewhere that's not necessarily a national powerhouse, but make them respectable.
Careful now. There's a lot of Kalen DeBoer fans who listen.
I love Kalen DeBoer
because we went through this, and I was saying how it just doesn't fit to me. I understand that he's won everywhere he's been. The dude's a winner. I know that, like, you can see that on his resume. You can see that based on the numbers. He's a winner. It just doesn't feel like Alabama is the place. Alabama and Kalen DeBoer just don't match for me. And I understand it's a winning tradition. He's a winner. It should work. But it also just feels like his style of play doesn't match what Alabama does. And again, I understand things change. He could do whatever. But it's just a weird situation, kind of like what you said, where he goes somewhere where that has a moderate amount of success and is able to take them to that next level. Alabama's already at that next level. So how much better can they actually get with Kalen DeBoer? They just had Nick Saban. Like, Kalen DeBoer isn't going to take them to 3 straight national championships and undefeated seasons right away. Like,
frankly, no coach is. No coach should be held to the Nick Saban standard.
No. But the thing is that there were other coaches who maybe you were looking at guys that came from the Nick Saban tree of coaching.
Yep.
The Lane Kiffins, the Steve Sarkisians, guys like that. Dan Lanning was there for a little bit amount of time. Like, those were the guys that everybody was looking at. Kalen DeBoer just kind of came out of left field. And like you said, kind of felt like he was around the 5th option because you had guys' names being mentioned and then guys getting raises or guys putting videos of them staying at their universities. And then here comes Kalen DeBoer at the 12th hour, 13th hour.
So how about this? This was an article just written 3 days ago, January 19th by the Seattle Times. And this is the fascinating stuff for me because college football, as we know it, also we obviously know it's ever changing, and it's the Big Ten and the SEC have kind of separated themselves into the two biggest players.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as much like you can't just chalk this up into saying, DeBoer wanted to coach in the SEC, because now there's a possibility and a way for you to view them somewhat on an even playing field.
With Nick Saban gone, yes.
Yeah, 100%. So now here's what's fascinating is this article is headlined, Washington offered, quote, Big Ten contract to Kalen DeBoer, the athletic director Troy Dannon says. So this is an interview, a conversation with the athletic director at Washington. And here's just a couple quotes from it. And it says, here we go. We put numbers in front of him that were quite frankly unprecedented for this university. Excuse me. We began contract negotiations in October, 10 days after he arrived. Quote, we put a Big Ten package in front of Kalen, not a Pac-12 package. When it wasn't signed, it gave us pause. Enough pause, in fact, that Dannon, the athletic director, began preparing for the possibility of a coaching search. He said this, quote, we had an $8.7 million annual contract in front of Kalen at Thanksgiving. After the Sugar Bowl, we had a $9.4 million annual offer on the table,
sir,
which would have put him in the top 8 in the country. When that didn't get signed, I started talking to folks just in case. There you go.
I mean, it makes sense that you would start talking to him.
And the guy that here, how about this? The athletic director, Troy Dannon, as we know, says that the one coach he's leaned on the most throughout these last couple of weeks, former Washington head coach Chris Peterson.
Of course.
He said, when I started talking to Peterson, just in case, and asked, hey, who do you like? Who have you run across? When Alabama called me last Thursday to interview DeBoer, I had Chris in my office the day before running through a list of people on my list. Who did he like? Who did he not like? Who were the people that were not on my list? Then I took Chris out of it. I didn't have him in the interviews, but I talked to him every single day. So once again, via public records request, the Seattle Times received documents that confirmed those figures and those contract offers.
Golly. The
first of 2 contract offers arrived on November 26th, which would have extended DeBoer through the next 9 seasons, with DeBoer receiving $8.5 million guaranteed in 2024, $8.5 in 2025, and it continues to go up to where he is given $9.3 million in 2031. A second contract offer that was dated just on January 11th, the day before Kalen DeBoer left for Alabama, included more inflated salary figures that started at $9+ million in 2024, escalated by more than $100,000 each year, and topped out at $9.7 million in 2031.
Do we know he's getting paid at Alabama?
It said around 10.
Yeah.
Terms of DeBoer's deal with Alabama have not been disclosed, but the contract is widely expected to be around $10 million in annual compensation.
Yeah, tough to compete with that when they have all the money that they were throwing at
everybody. Of course,
some of that extra money and the SEC money and all that stuff. And also, like, yes, he was getting a bunch of talent to Washington, and what he was doing at Washington was amazing. But when you get down to it, you can get better talent at Alabama. Even if it's,
of course,
you look at Tuscaloosa and you're like, oh, what's even there? Like, what is that? Like, Alabama still is going to have the reputation for putting players in the NFL.
Absolutely.
And as long as you have that, you're going to get some of the higher level players.
So this is just the fascinating stuff for me, to where it's like just days before, well, months, frankly, back in October, there was a contract extension offered.
They knew.
And then just on the day before, $9+ million for Washington is a lot.
That's that Big Ten money. Actually,
right?
That's still not even big. That's new Big Ten money.
Like let's compare, right? Matt Rule's contract, he's making $5.5 this season. He'll make 12.5 by 2030, which is on the final year of the contract, I believe. So, I mean, you're looking at starting next season in 2024, DeBoer would have made 9 under the one that was proposed on January 11th.
I guess what is Ryan Day, Jim Harbaugh, James Franklin? Like, you look at the guys who are competing, James Franklin kind of here and there, competing for playoff spots. Those are the guys that you're competing with in terms of contract money.
So Ryan Day
Yep.
gets paid $9.5 million annually. So you were right up there with Ryan Day. I mean, so it's competitive. Like, that's nothing on Washington.
Mm-hmm. They did everything they could aside from offer him an astronomical amount of money that maybe they wouldn't have had at the moment.
And by the way, Kalen DeBoer, I believe, I want to say he was okay. Yep. Do you have any idea how much he was making this year
at Washington?
At what this season?
They were prepared to give him 8-7.
Yeah,
with the first contract.
Yep.
I'd say probably 4 or 5, somewhere close to rule.
$4.2 million.
Yeah.
Kalen DeBoer made 4.2 this year at Washington.
How long was he at Washington?
Birth.
2-3 years?
I believe this was his third. Excuse me, 2.
2.
Can
you imagine going from where was he at
once again
as the offensive coordinator at Indiana to Washington for 2 years, getting into the playoff, and then getting the Alabama job? The ride and just if you look at his resume and where he was at before and how he made his climb up the coaching ranks.
Oh, it's incredible.
It's ridiculous. It's so cool.
Just the start of this USA Today article says Alabama has hired Kalen DeBoer to succeed Nick Saban. DeBoer, who spent the past 2 seasons at Washington, brings 9 years of head coaching experience, 5 with an NAIA school.
Yep.
5 of his 9 years, not even at the Division I level.
And now he's at Alabama.
Here you go. Strike gold, get to the playoff, and who knows what's going to come. Now, and as OGCJ points out, he says, guys, they knew, DeBoer knew, Saban knew. Obviously, Alabama was looking for a while. I get that.
I don't think Saban knew. I don't think he knew he was going to retire.
I think it's okay, though, to do your due diligence throughout the season.
Well, I feel like they've been doing that for a while because he's been getting up there in age, but I don't think Saban knew because he even mentioned that he was still trying to figure out which speech he was going to give his team in the locker room. And if he knew, there's no way, look, have whatever thoughts you want about Nick Saban, there's no way he would have gone out and recruited all these guys saying like, hey, I'm going to recruit you and I want you to come to Alabama, but I'm not going to be here next year. Because if he did that, I guarantee you Julian Sayin was not committing to Alabama.
Yeah, it's just a weird situation because if you're Kalen DeBoer on that first contract, why not sign it? If you had no intention, no thought of, you know what, maybe I could leave after this year, why not sign it?
Maybe it's one of those where he thought, they're having a good season so far.
He was going to get paid double.
It's
to begin with.
Yeah,
double.
But you think you're having a good season, you could leverage it
for more than double.
Yes.
Well, and he ended up being able to do so.
You're going into the Big Ten.
Man,
they're doubling your contract, but you're like, no.
If I'm getting paid 4.2 and I have an opportunity to stay here,
then
I'm going to make 8.4. Okay.
Yeah, but they offer you 8.4. But
and I'm going into major Power 5 football.
You see Ryan Day's making 9. I want 9. I want 9. Do you see what I'm doing right now with this team?
I understand.
With this ragtag bunch of misfits.
Not at Washington. Not at Washington. They're pretty good. I will say, you don't have Michael Penix.
Nope.
You want to talk about the headache?
Maybe that's why he didn't sign it.
Frankly, the headache that Jed Fish now has trying to figure out Washington.
He's not getting any Arizona players.
It's a good like I like Jed Fish a lot. Now
Arizona doesn't.
Arizona does not. In terms of like, how does this view the Big Ten? How does the Big Ten view this? What does this mean for like the SEC?
Oh, I know the Big Ten's pissed.
Big Ten's pissed. I'm mad.
Pissed.
I'm mad.
I was excited. Now
I like Kalen DeBoer at Washington.
Yeah,
I like Jed Fish. But it doesn't mean I want to lose Kalen DeBoer.
You get
get the addition of Jed Fish.
You get the Midwest boy out west coming back home to the Big Ten, and now he's going to the SEC. Ridiculous.
Because realistically speaking, you're probably not going to get instantly. It's not going to be as a smooth of a transition for Jed Fish as if Kalen DeBoer's still there. Washington's probably pretty well respected.
They lose like 2-3 games.
There's a couple of guys leaving now, more than a couple. Jed Fish has some work to do. Roster retention, adding transfers. Starts at the quarterback, starts at the wide receiver position, trying to figure out how to replace not only Michael Penix, but Rome Odunze. So from the Big Ten's perspective, kind of a chink in the old armor.
But you kept Dan Lanning.
You did. But the SEC, unfortunately, took one of your coaches.
Tragic.
Let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk Husker hoops. We'll also dive into NFL playoffs as well. That was supposed to be part of this segment, was the NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
But I wanted to obviously talk about this. So we're going to just dissect both Husker hoops and NFL playoffs coming up throughout the rest of the show. As always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 961 are all available for you to see what's going on inside the studio. Come on down, 1040 O Street. Grab yourself a cup of Joe. Grab some Beatrice Bakery as well. And come hang out with us. We'll go ahead and take a quick timeout and round out the show in about 25 minutes or so right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
John Henry's would like to remind you, if you haven't already, to unhook your outdoor hoses and check faucets for leaks so your pipes don't freeze. As the official plumber of the Huskers, you know who to call when a plumbing issue arises. From frozen pipes to clogged drains, we can help you protect your home this winter. Give
John Henry's
a call today to schedule at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and we'd like to say thank you for a record-setting 2023. So let's start off 2024 with the bang. They've got huge trade-in bonuses and finance bonusing happening right now on our new inventory at Copple. Get up to $8,500 off select new models at Copple. So if you're shopping for a new GM product, go to our website at copplecars.com. You won't believe the discounts. Make that short money-saving drive down 144th Street. You'll be glad you did. Must have trade and finance with roof credit. Stock number G2076684.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
We wait all pro football season for the big game. But will you come out on top? Warhorse Festival of Games is putting you at the center of the action with 2 chances to win big. Earn entries for our $100,000 prop card challenge daily at Warhorse Casino Lincoln. Enjoy slots, sports wagering, and horse racing. Then make your picks about the big game to be eligible to win. Qualifying entries will also be put in the running for your share of the $20,000 grand prize drawing. Increase your luck for the drawing by playing free online games on the Festival of Games website. Skip the trip to Vegas and get in on the big game right here at Lincoln's favorite place to play. And if that's not enough, our $1 Million Bracket Challenge for college basketball is coming soon. Full details are online at warhorsecasino.com. Warhorse Casino Lincoln, just minutes from downtown at Highway 77 and West Denton Road. Why not today? Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
It's Pro Time Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, is playing in the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match on January 24th against the Atlanta Vibe at the CHI Health Center. Be a part of history and visit supernovas.com to secure your single match tickets today.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I don't believe you people.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people? Huh?
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It's the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Very, very quick couple of segments here since we went a little long on Kalen DeBoer. Who would have knew? Who would have known?
We miss him.
Yeah, the Big Ten misses him. $9.5 million wasn't good enough.
You mean we're not good enough for you, Kalen?
I guess you wanted to go to Alabama. I don't know.
You didn't want to come back to the old stomping grounds?
Time out. I would also wonder, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole again, but like, I also am like curious in how much, I guess, say or power, how much it matters. Like, I'm going to Alabama and I'm succeeding Nick Saban.
I wouldn't want to do that.
I wouldn't want to.
Nick Saban's also staying there. He said he's not going. He still has an office.
And Kalen DeBoer said he's got 100% access.
Yeah, he still has an office in Bryant-Denny. So he'll be there. He said he can still watch the players and get on them if they mess up during practice.
Dang. That's the thing is I don't know if we want.
Hi, people.
Yeah, I know. Hi. They were just slowly waving out in the van.
Aloha.
But nonetheless, I don't know how I'd feel about succeeding a legend like Nick Saban.
Somebody get Frank Solich on the phone.
There you go. I don't know how I'd feel.
You never want to be the dude that follows the dude.
You want to be the dude that follows the dude that wanted to be the dude.
Yeah. You want to be the dude that follows the dude that followed the dude.
Because he thought he could follow them.
Exactly.
Nonetheless, 402-464-5685. Let's talk Husker hoops. Nebraska sitting here 14-5 now. They avoided a 3-game skid over the weekend.
Thank goodness.
With a 6-point victory, 75-69 at the hands of Northwestern. They now host Ohio State tomorrow night. Ohio State, if you look at Joe Lenardi's bracket predictions.
Hope you guys kept your Peacock subscription.
Yeah, because Nebraska always plays well.
On Peacock?
On Peacock.
Do they?
They beat Purdue.
Okay, so that's one. How many times have they been on Peacock?
They beat Oregon State.
You're right. Oh,
That's 2. They demolished both of those teams.
I'll have to look and see what other times they've been on
The
Peacock.
only time was Nebraska football with Wisconsin. That's the only 3 times that a Nebraska game has been on Peacock. But nonetheless, so Nebraska Husker basketball 14-5 now. If you look at, as I mentioned, Joe Lenardi's bracket predictions, if you want to read into this, Nebraska is actually in the last 4 buys category, so somewhat safe. Nice job, 7470. That's a good one. That's I want to call it. I want to call like the
Same.
Huskers,
but we can't.
We can't.
Like, you're not wrong.
It would just roll off the tongue. But nonetheless, Nebraska basketball listed in the last 4 buys, while Ohio State is actually listed in the next 4 out. So they're in that 5th to 8 teams away from making the tournament range. Nebraska should win tomorrow. Like, and we're still getting used to, I think.
Careful now.
I think we're still getting kind of accustomed to, Nebraska on paper and on the floor, they are the better team, and they should win a game when you're talking about a matchup with a fellow Big Ten team. Like, it's so strange, right? They, like, on paper, they probably should have beaten Rutgers, and on the floor, they just didn't match up.
Well, even on the floor, after giving up 25 offense, they should have won.
And on Saturday with Northwestern, you went into that game like, you know what? Nebraska, both on paper and on the floor, are the better team, and they should win. Well, guess what? Then they actually did. I think we're still just getting like used to or making sure that it's not fool's gold when discussing Nebraska basketball, because we're so used to they should win, but they're not going to.
It's looking at your team on paper and then seeing your team on the court and actually believing that things are going to happen the way that maybe the paper says that they should is not something that Nebraska basketball fans have had the leisure of doing, if not had the pleasure of doing. So when you look at this team and the depth of this team, even without Juwan Gary, and the talent that this team possesses and the way that they play basketball, they are not a matchup nightmare for other big teams, except for Purdue, which they always play tough for whatever reason. But they are a good matchup for just about every Big Ten team, as long as they, and look, the one thing that Nebraska has to do that will keep them in every single game, which I feel like it's pretty obvious and counts for every team, but especially this Nebraska team, is play defense, is play that inspired defense that everybody knows they can play, that they played at the beginning of the season, that they've had lulls in a couple of games, namely the Iowa game and the Creighton game. But if they play that inspired defense, that switching defense where they're closing out on shooters tightly, that they're always with them, that's the kind of defense that will keep them in games, even if they're not grabbing a bunch of rebounds, even if they're not making a bunch of shots, just because this is such a long, fast, gritty team that as long as they're engaged, they always have a chance to be with just about every team right now in the Big Ten.
I think one guy we certainly need to talk about still is CJ Wilcher. I think
the man is having a great season.
He's had such a strong year for Nebraska, whether it was him in the starting role at the start of the season, and as we kind of knew that once Juwan Gary got back, that, hey, CJ's probably going to move to the bench and come off the bench. He's just had a complete career revival this season, I think. You look at just some of the statistics for CJ. I mean, he struggled so many times last year. A shot, let's see, what was it? From the field last year, shot 38% from the field last year coming off the bench. He's shooting 51% from the field this year, 53 of 105 field goals. From 3-point range, he's upped his percentage by 14 percentage points. He was shooting 31% last season, just made 42 threes all season long. This year, he's already made 30, and he's shooting 44% from beyond the arc.
CJ Wilcher is a strange one because he always finds himself open in crucial moments. Maybe it's not game winners or anything like that, but it's always a time when Nebraska can continue a run, or they need to stop a run, or just a clutch shot where if it goes in, you feel like Nebraska has this in the bag. He always finds himself on the court and open in those situations. And last year, he wasn't knocking those shots down. It would clang off the rim, and everybody in the arena is just, but this year, he gets it, and as soon as it hits his hands, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sitting there like, that's money.
And not to mention, how about this? CJ Wilcher from the free throw line already has more made free throws this season than he did all of last year. And he's shooting 93% from the free throw strike. From the free throw stripe. He was 64% from the free throw line last season. He's 93. He's missed just 2 free throws all season long. 25 of 27 from the free throw line. That's big. That's big for Nebraska. And so that's one of the few guys. All right. There's multiple we certainly should be talking about. But I mean, CJ Wilcher coming off the bench, as Rico mentioned, it's just huge knowing that, all right, Fred Hoiberg can put in CJ Wilcher, take Casey out, take Rink Mass out if they want to play a little smaller, and that you're not just sacrificing so much offense, right? You're not sacrificing so much offense when you take a couple of guys out. It just, the depth of Nebraska,
it's not
and
a
the balance has been here.
It's not a massive drop off from the starters to the bench anymore.
Yep.
Now, obviously there is a drop off because it is the starters, it is the bench, but it's not huge. I mean, you've got guys coming off the bench who are giving you solid minutes and giving you solid production, a la Sam Hoiberg and CJ Wilcher. And now with Juwan Gary being a game time decision day to day with the calf strain, which thank goodness it's just a calf strain. It looked so much worse.
Yeah.
Now whenever you get him back, but until then, Eli Rice offering you some solid minutes against Northwestern and some solid play.
So you look at Nebraska's upcoming stretch, right? Ohio State comes to town tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Then Nebraska will travel to College Park this Saturday against Maryland. Maryland struggling this year a little bit. They're not the normal Maryland team that we're used to seeing. They're sitting there at 11-8 overall. Still a good team. 3-5 in the Big Ten Conference. Then guess what? You get another opportunity, another crack at a team that beat you pretty bad on their home floor. Wisconsin. Wisconsin comes to Lincoln on the 1st of February, and then you follow that up with a road game at number 10 Illinois on Sunday, February 4th. So
just got Terrence Shannon back.
They did just get Terrence Shannon Jr. back. So I mean, you look at, once again, games that Nebraska just needs to get if they want to make that postseason the big dance. Tomorrow night, Ohio State is certainly one of them. And I think you could even talk about just continue to build to your resume, not necessarily looking past the Maryland game, but that one on Thursday, February 1st against Wisconsin at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Protect your home floor, win the games here at home, and you can afford to maybe lose a couple of them on the road if they're against formidable opponents. And Nebraska needs to try to stack all the wins they can, especially the ones at home, as we go forward into the second half of the season. So Nebraska sits here 14-5. They're currently 5th in the Big Ten Conference, tied for 5th with Michigan State and Indiana. You have Wisconsin, Purdue, Illinois, and Northwestern all ahead of them with fewer Big Ten losses. So let's go ahead and take our final timeout here. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys the rest of the show here. We'll go ahead and take a quick timeout and bring in Strick and Austin for the crossover on a Monday right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We wait all pro football season for the big game. But will you come out on top? Warhorse Festival of Games is putting you at the center of the action with 2 chances to win big. Earn entries for our $100,000 prop card challenge daily at Warhorse Casino Lincoln. Enjoy slots, sports wagering, and horse racing. Then make your picks about the big game to be eligible to win. Qualifying entries will also be put in the running for your share of the $20,000 grand prize drawing. Increase your luck for the drawing by playing free online games on the Festival of Games website. Skip the trip to Vegas and get in on the big game right here at Lincoln's favorite place to play. And if that's not enough, our $1 Million Bracket Challenge for college basketball is coming soon. Full details are online at warhorsecasino.com. Warhorse Casino Lincoln, just minutes from downtown at Highway 77 and West Denton Road. Why not today? Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your link to forecast for today, expected cloudy skies with patchy fog developing later. We'll see a high of around 35. Tonight, a chance of wintry mixed fog and freezing fog expected too. We'll see a low around 30. And tomorrow, more cloud cover with calm winds. We'll see a high of around 35. Meteorologist Kyle Clutton for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
How do people feel about getting Big Fitness Energy at Planet Fitness for $1 down and $10 a month? They feel as thrilled as a kid the first summer they're tall enough to ride the roller coaster! That's right. When you join Planet Fitness right now, you'll get access to tons of equipment and free fitness training in a clean and spacious club. Don't wait. Join the judgment-free zone today for that all-day energy. Download the free Planet Fitness app and join today for $1 down, $10 a month.
Deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and we'd like to say thank you for a record-setting 2023. So let's start off 2024 with the bang. They've got huge trade-in bonuses and finance bonusing happening right now on our new inventory at Copple. Get up to $8,500 off select new models at Copple. So if you're shopping for a new GM product, go to our website at copplecars.com. You won't believe the discounts. Make that short money-saving drive down 144th Street. You'll be glad you did. Must have trade and finance with roof credit. Stock number G207684.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
It's Pro Time Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, is playing in the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match on January 24th against the Atlanta Vibe at the CHI Health Center. Be a part of history and visit supernovas.com to secure your single match tickets today.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainer.
Furby the Fourth ate his first solid food today, prompting a response of
Nothing but steaks all week for the Nebraska offensive line.
Then Enrique Alvarez Clary.
No more peaches and carrots for Herbie the Seventh. Baby food be damned.
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What's up? We're back one final time on a Monday as we get ready for the crossover. Strick and Austin join us. Gentlemen, what's up?
New day. It's a Monday.
It is a Monday.
Woo, a lot of stuff happened over the weekend, that's
a
for
lot
sure.
of stuff has happened just in general over the last week and a half.
No doubt.
So.
It's exciting. Glad to have you back, man. You look good and shiny. And
I appreciate that.
Got that high pro glow, little burnt cheeks, a little rosy.
Thank you. No, I'm good. I thankfully didn't burn once. I ran out of my bottle of sunscreen, but I didn't burn one single time. Hey, I will say, I mean, like there was a little bit of humidity down there, and you just feel
a little bit, bro. It's Mexico.
You just feel sticky nonstop.
Oh yeah. You go from inside in the nice AC, you step outside, and all of a sudden you're just like bleh.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
Yeah. I was averaging about 3 showers a day.
Nick, what was in your cup the most? Come on, you're of age.
There was. I am.
What was in your cup?
I was heavy on the coconut rum over the week and a half.
Okay.
There was
straight or mixed in with stuff.
I don't know what my bartender Tommy was putting in there,
but it was
good.
Man was taking care of you.
I came in. I rolled down to the swim up bar each morning, and I gave Tommy $15. And I just said, Tommy, keep him coming all day, and he did. He just never stopped.
That's nice.
That was all it was.
That's MVT.
Nice. Yep. Tried to bring him. I told the guys I tried to bring him back to Omaha. I said, Tommy, I will pay for your flight back to Omaha. I said, I won't pay for you to live there, but I'll pay for your flight.
He said, Tommy, keep him coming.
and he respectfully declined. I didn't see Tommy for the rest of the day.
Can you imagine him coming to this?
Oh no. I showed him a picture of this, and he said a cuss word, and he goes, "Oh, bleep no." So I said, all right, whatever, man. But no, it was good. Did a couple of no, we don't need to talk about that. Anyway, gentlemen, let's talk NFL playoffs real quickly, because I'm sure that's going to come up on your show at some point today. Can we talk about Stephon Diggs, please?
How the man's been watching other teams celebrate for like 5 years now.
That part, but that also
hurts. that hurts, Rico.
Yeah, am I wrong? That cuts deep. That cuts deep.
Stephon has been watching people celebrate on the field after games for like 5 years now.
This is what
go to the locker room, dude.
First of all, Joe B, the price per bite and the PPB was just off the charts,
astronomical.
It was unbelievable. I think I got my money's worth out of everything. Nonetheless, Stephon Diggs, what I want to really dive into is, do you consider Stephon Diggs a top 10 wide receiver? Top 10 wideout in the league?
Yes. I think he digressed this year, and that's just me speaking.
He didn't play like one this year, but I think it's still in there. So I'm willing to give him one off year.
Because here's my thought, is like, he's been one of the more vocal guys in the offseason. He's complained about, hey, I don't get targets, I don't get shares, I get mad. Obviously the Bills have had some other guys kind of, rise to the occasion. Gabe Davis is probably one of the bigger names. And Stephon's been there, but last night when his number was called, he did not show up. Not even just on the long ball. Not even on the one that he went through his two arms, right? It was, yeah.
He should have gone.
Yeah, he's like, I was close. Throughout the entire game, frankly, throughout the bulk of the season, Stephon wasn't really there. He had a couple of games, I think, where he surpassed 100 yards, but
he had 500-yard game.
When they needed him yesterday, because they have so many injuries on that offensive side, James Cook stepped up more and was more consistent this year than Stephon Diggs.
Now, I will say that last night, I do agree with you. He didn't step up to the occasion in a couple instances, but there were that last drive.
Yep.
2 times. When Stephon was that Tony Romo mentioned it on the broadcast. This is going to be the play you remember. It's the play. Stephon was open on a dig route, wide open. And Josh Allen tried to be a hero and win it in one play. Win it with a throw across the middle.
The shot to the end zone?
Yeah.
that's what the play call was.
I
right
also,
before that play.
Also,
you saw Allen manipulate the safety.
Yep.
You saw him move him over. He got the look he wanted. It was just a bad throw. It was
a
the
bad throw.
It was just a bad throw.
Also, Josh, if you watch the replay from like the back, Josh got hit.
Yeah,
he got hit as he threw.
Chris Jones pushed his offensive lineman into him.
Exactly.
But if you think about the situation, the time and the place, and all of that going on, you hit him, he gets that first down. You get that play next time.
Man, I
understand that that's the play call and that's what was there, and he gets hit, and it was a good throw. He had the man open. If he puts a little mustard on it, it's probably a touchdown. But at the same time, look, you had to sit back there. You had to wait half a second longer. If you would have just looked down, the little check down right there, it's there for a reason. You take that. Look, Stephon Diggs could have scored with how maneuverable he is and how much open field was in front of him.
Yeah.
I'm not putting it on one player. I'm just saying that Stephon Diggs, to me, still a top 10 receiver in terms of his locker room presence and all of the things he says in the offseason and, after games, during games, whatever, maybe a little bit lower. But in terms of just him being on the field and being a weapon for a quarterback, I'd still keep him. I'd still say he's top 10.
I mean, I look at it this way.
Is he worth the money, though?
Money and headache.
Right?
Because I looked at it like last night. You cannot complain that you weren't featured.
No.
You cannot. Throughout the entire season, frankly, you cannot complain that you weren't featured, that they didn't try to get it to you. Last night, right? 8 targets, 9 targets the week before, 8, 7, 8, 11, 11, 7, 12, 12, 16, 11, 12, 13.
They're trying to get you the ball.
They are trying to get you the ball. But on games that you consistently 3 catches, 4 catches, 2 catches, 3 catches, 4 catches. When Gabe Davis is out there and James Cook is a reliable RB1,
you finally have that running game.
The Bills finally have that running game after years of like the duo of Devin Singletary and Zach Moss and their fumble issues that came with them. They finally have a James Cook. And guess what? Not only do they have Dawson Knox, who's had really good career these last couple of seasons, but they went out and they took a draft pick and used it on Dalton Kincaid. Kincaid. Josh Allen has spoke publicly about how he sees flashes of like other top tight ends in the league in Dalton Kincaid. Maybe you're not that guy anymore.
Stephon Diggs' last 100-yard game came on Nebraska football's bye week.
Yeah. There you go.
Think about that. That was a minute ago.
Yeah. Dang. Had just 8 touchdowns this season. And I say just 8, but it's because in previous years he's been much more
and 3
reliable.
of them came in one game. He only caught a touchdown in 6 games this year.
This was the last 2 seasons before this year. Stephon Diggs had double-digit touchdowns. He had 8 in his first year with Buffalo. You look at the yards, right, over the course of the entire season. In Buffalo, this was his 4th year in Buffalo. He had 1,500, 1,300, 1,400, and now 1,100. So, I mean, I understand it's not statistically maybe not that big of a drop-off, but each offseason it feels like we hear from Stephon. We go through the same song and dance of like, he's going to get traded. He wants to get traded. Now he wants back in Buffalo. He wants to stay there, and he's going to, right the wrongs, right the ship, whatever you want to call it.
Wants to be a surefire number 1, wants to get number 1 targets, wants to get paid like a number 1.
He did, but he's not producing in the terms of a number 1.
Are the Bills the NFL's equivalent of the Philadelphia 76ers?
Man, that feels...
No.
Is Stephon Diggs James Harden to Josh Allen's Joel Embiid?
Maybe.
Oh, there it is. About time.
At least one.
Yep. It always happens.
Yep.
I don't know. I just feel like the Bills don't need to do anything drastic, right? Like they still won, 11, 12 games in the regular season, rattled off a killer win streak. I mean, Josh Allen is a top 5 quarterback in football. Beyond the shadow of a doubt. Like they are right. Are they like the Brewers, right? Where they're always in the conversation, but they just can't get over the hump. Do you take a drastic step or do you stay the course and just wait for it to finally be your turn? I don't know the right thing to do.
Their problem is they can't because they're so far over the cap. Even with the players that they're losing, they're not going to have enough cap room to make any drastic moves.
They are $46 million over the salary cap.
This was their year. This was it. This was their window. To me, it's closed. To me, their Super Bowl window is closed. They're going to have to figure out something. They're going to have to make some changes, trade some players away, manipulate some salaries, do a whole bunch of crazy things with the money that they do have, because I don't see them making any drastic changes to their roster while also losing some key pieces.
So it's crazy. It's interesting that we say that because we're going to have that conversation at some point here of like the Bills Super Bowl window. At the start of this
probably
season,
call it Super Bowl lose dough.
Yeah, at the start of the season, I was on the bus of like, yeah, you know what? This is they need to win it. Their window's closing. I don't know if I'm in that same thought process anymore. I think, or line of thought anymore.
Why is that?
Because I think Josh Allen is a much bigger difference maker than maybe I gave him credit for. Because what's the difference? Now you can say wins, right? I get it. Like that's
5 and 6 in the playoffs.
That's a big part. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, you know what? Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen is just as good. But if Josh Allen wins that game last night, he didn't win it with Stephon. He won it with a bad wide receiver core, the same way Patrick Mahomes won it last night. Frankly,
equally, if not more banged up on defense.
Frankly, last night's loss doesn't necessarily fall on the Bills' offense. It doesn't fall like, yeah, maybe it falls on Josh Allen a little bit just because he's the quarterback. But being realistic and unbiased and taking away like the fact that, you know, we're only 130 miles away from Kansas City or whatever it is, like at the end of the day, if Josh Allen was able to make the Super Bowl this year, he would be doing it with arguably just as beat up of a roster, if not worse, than Patrick Mahomes could do it. And so I get like legacy wise, Patrick Mahomes has a better like resume right now. But we can't sit here and say, you know what, next year, and this is why I changed my thought of that, you know what, maybe the Bills window is closed after this year. Because I think that the Bills could still be in that same position without Stephon Diggs next year. I think they could still be in that position with a better defense next year. They spent all this money on Von Miller and he was non-existent because of injuries or because he chose to sit, whatever the case may be. He had 2 tackles this year. So like, I think I'm not ready anymore to say the Bills window is closed specifically for that reason, because there were glimpses last night that Josh Allen still got it.
Josh Allen never lost it. He's always had a proclivity for a big turnover, but he took care of the ball this postseason.
He can do it with Gabe Davis. He can do it with Dalton Kincaid. He can do it with James Cook with a decent offensive line. And frankly,
one of the best offensive lines in the NFL.
And frankly, people forget this: a new offensive coordinator halfway through the season, and a head coach that you want to talk about can't get out of his own way. Doug McDermott has his fair share of issues. Or not Doug McDermott. Sean McDermott has his fair share of issues.
Dougie McDermott is he's very talented.
Sean McDermott has his fair share of issues.
To me, the Bills window, it's if it's not all the way closed, it's damn near close, because you look at what injury issues plague the AFC this year, and we've come to think of the AFC as probably one of the better, definitely the better side in the NFL. The Bengals were missing Joe Burrow and everything that was happening there. The Jets were missing Aaron Rodgers after 3 plays. The Dolphins just can't win in a game that's 45 degrees or colder at the beginning of the game. The Raiders are going to be improved with Antonio Pierce as head coach in his first full season. Chiefs are doing Chief things. The Broncos, as much as we all dislike it and what Raph is saying, improved as the season went along. I mean, they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with the quarterback position.
Though.
The AFC is stacked with talent. And if the Bills can get to the AFC Championship and not much further, look, you keep doing the same song and dance with the same players and the same athletes and the same roster. At some point, people are going to catch up. I mean, that's already what happened to the Chiefs this year. That's why they're playing on the road. Teams have caught up. Yeah. They haven't caught up enough, but they've caught up to them.
I think there's a lot to discuss. What's coming up on the show today, gentlemen?
Yeah, we'll definitely talk some more NFL playoffs as we lead off hour 2. But Nebraska Northwestern, Huskers survived. The most important thing to note is they got the win. Right, we'll talk about how that went down, what our takeaways are, and a big recruiting update from Brian Munson of Husker Online. Big junior day in Lincoln. A lot of big name prospects were in town. We'll get the full rundown from Brian at 3:30.
All right, well, there you go. That's all that and more coming up on the block with Strick and Austin. Huge thanks to Austin and Rico for holding down the fort on the happy hour the last week and a half or so. Good to be back. Happy to be back. Got a full couple of months coming up for you on the happy hour. We're out of here. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Adios.
It's Pro Time Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, is playing in the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match on